Before we get into today's show, if we can get 2,000 likes on today's show, I will wear the Pop-Tart Halloween costume on Sunday, and we'll give it away as a raffle item as well. So why not like today's video for me right now? We will get some more Jerry Jones comments and conversation in a second, but first I want to break down the Cooper Kupp trade rumors and how they somehow get linked to the Cowboys, even though I have my real doubts there. Multiple different reports have said the Cooper Kupp has drawn trade interest from other teams, and the biggest of which was Diana Russini breaking this down on Tuesday, that not only do the Rams have interest, they're open to it, they're actively trying to, that the Rams have called multiple teams about trading Cooper Kupp away, and they are willing to take on some of the 2024 salary in an effort to get a premium pick back, a second-round pick. Now, in general, I'm always open to trading away your second-round pick because you're terrible with it in more cases than not. Of note, USA Today listed the Cowboys as a fit. I think you know where I will eventually go with this whole thing. But if the argument's always been, Cowboys don't want to spend money, well, the Rams eating a bunch of the salary would make it more affordable from a contract cost perspective. Obviously, would increase the draft cost perspective. Cooper Kupp has been banged up this year and banged up last year and banged up the year before that. When he has been healthy, he has been a fantastic wide receiver. Now, I do wonder about his fit a little bit with him being kind of more of a power slot, how that fits in one-to-one alongside CeeDee Lamb. But you don't have a true number two. Boy, Cooper Kupp, when healthy, would do that. Now, as for the money, which certainly is a big factor in this conversation, as of right now, the new team would owe around $9 million. The 2024 owed and cap savings are before the proration, so it's more like $9 million that would be owed. Rams could eat some of that, bring that figure down significantly. The Rams would then save 14-ish, but maybe a little bit less if they eat more money. There is guaranteed money in 2025. It's $5 million. The new team owes 20 total. That's not that bad. Although the Cowboys might not go down and pursue that path. Look, Brandon Cooks is on IR. Jalen Tolbert stepped up and has played pretty decently, all things considered. But you don't have a legitimate number two wide receiver. You don't have somebody that makes defenses feel, okay, we're going to not double-team bracket, cloud coverage, CeeDee Lamb at every given chance. Cooper Kupp would open that up. But we have very little faith in the Cowboys actually making a trade, from Jerry Jones' own words and the actions of the team as well. So be honest with me. I'll give my thoughts here more in depth in a second. What is the percent chance the Cowboys trade for Cooper Kupp? It is the pinned comment on today's show. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know the percent chance you think the Cowboys trade for Cooper Kupp. I think everyone knows what I'm about to say here, right? Don't get your hopes up. This is not, like, the Cowboys are not actually all in. And despite what Jerry Jones might have said, they have made it clear they don't actually want to spend assets on this particular team. They don't want to spend cash. They don't want to spend cap space. They don't want to spend draft assets. They're not an aggressive win-now team. Now, look, Cooper Kupp would help the Cowboys, no doubt. The injury concerns alone might give you pause, plus maybe it only goes for a third. All of those are valid. All of those concerns are real. But from a practicality standpoint of how this Cowboys organization wants to operate, how they have chosen to operate, they don't want to be aggressive. And you know what? Maybe because they were so bad in the offseason, they can't salvage it right now anyway. Maybe they aren't good enough to justify trading a day 2 pick for Cooper Kupp. Maybe they're better off not spending all of that cash and that cap and not spending a premium draft asset and just keeping it in their back pocket, keeping their powder dry for next offseason when they can have $100 million in salary cap space, when they will have most likely a new head coach and new coaching staffs, and maybe then they can be a little bit more aggressive. Today's Cowboys Report is made possible by Turtle Beach, the #1 brand in gaming headsets and accessories. The one that I am wearing was a gift from my wife because even though she is the furthest thing possible from a gamer, she knows that Turtle Beach makes the absolute best in headsets. Whether you are a casual gamer or haven't touched grass in weeks, which very much was me during the height of CFB 25, still got like 6 online dynasties going, Turtle Beach is the right headset for you. They also don't just have amazing headsets. They have every gaming accessory you could ever want. And they're all high quality at prices that don't break the bank. From flight and racing simulators to controllers, keyboards, and mice, Turtle Beach is the ultimate gaming cheat code. So get the ultimate immersive gaming experience with Turtle Beach today, and make sure you check out the Turtle Beach Stealth 600 headsets. They are absolutely fantastic. For a limited time only, head to turtlebeach.com/chat and use code CHAT for 10% off your entire order. That's 10% off your entire order at turtlebeach.com/chat and use code CHAT. Level up your game today. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. Let's move to Jerry Jones. He was back at it at his 105 Through the Fan interview. A little bit less angry for that particular one on Tuesday. And even though he still did some weird stuff, as Jerry always does, I actually think that most of what Jerry Jones said was right. The problem is, I don't think Jerry realizes why the things he pointed out as flaws with this team are an issue. I don't think he fully understands how right he was and why that is actually a bad thing. So several Jerry takeaways I want to get to here. I don't foresee a mid-season firing happening. I think that was made pretty clear by Jerry Jones, unless it really, really, really gets away in like December and they're sitting there at like 2-7. He again apologized for firing Wade Phillips midseason. And one of the things this organization always does with Jerry is they will overcorrect when they made a previous mistake. They constantly make comments about not drafting Randy Moss. Jerry thinks he made a mistake with I think with Dave Campo, not giving him enough time, or Chan Gailey, one of those. I think it's Chan Gailey. Now he thinks he made a mistake firing Wade Phillips midseason. Right to fire Wade. They didn't give him enough control over his coaching staff. They've learned the wrong lesson again, but I don't think Jerry wants to fire Mike, and I think to an extent, everyone calling for him to be fired is kind of forced to help cause Jerry to dig in even deeper. So prediction time. Will Jerry Jones fire Mike McCarthy mid-season? Why for yes and for no? Let me know in the comments section of today's video. Takeaway number 2. He took a shot at Mike McCarthy. And whether he meant to or not, he absolutely did. Here's what Jerry Jones said. I'll give the full, longer answer than just the soundbite that stands out. Asked about the issues on offense, etc. Our situation is more about, frankly, holding your blocks, more about not making mistakes, more about, in my mind, the receivers running through a man-to-man coverage and running on through it. The types of things we all think we should be looking at is when we're designing bad plays or designing some bad concepts. The facts are that there's some of that. But there's also some of the execution. There's some of the talent. I like our talent. I really do. I like our young talent. Young talent has a few more mistakes associated with it than if you are dealing with a veteran player. In general, I don't think Jerry's wrong here. I think you have blocking issues. You have receiving issues. You have talent issues. You have young talent issues. You have schematic issues. None of that is new. So how are we sitting up here in the middle of a 2024 campaign going, you know what? We got some scheme issues. Jerry, you've had those bad plays and bad designs for a long time. How is that just now being identified? I saw it with the head coach, by the way. Head coach with the comment, we're suddenly getting a lot of, twists and stunts, said that during the bye week. No, you've been getting that since week 2. Why does it take you a month to identify issues with this team and fix them? We will see if, just like last year, Mike McCarthy made some real changes during the bye week. They are needed, and it is concerning that the same changes we asked for last year, we're asking for again this year. I don't think that Jerry realizes how damning of a indictment he just made on his coaching staff there. Number 3, takeaway. The door, I think, actually is slightly cracked for trade. Now, not the type of trade that the Cowboys are looking for, or we are looking for. Here's what Jerry said. So that if you see us moving in any way by chance during this trade deadline, trading somebody, that would be because we are going in a different direction with defense, offense, whatever you want to do. Obviously, we're going in different directions than we did with Quinn in a small part, and so the same skill and the same player may not work as well with what we want to do with Zimmer as when we had Quinn. Jerry kind of laid it out there a little bit. That reads like possible sellers to me. That sounds like a team that, hey, if we get an offer for a guy that doesn't fit us the way we thought he did long term and maybe is on a one-year deal, we could listen if we don't right the ship a little bit here. Now, we will have a trade candidates video for you guys in the near future. Do not miss out. Hit that sub button at youtube.com/CowboysTV. Jerry, takeaway number 4. He went unprompted, basically. Again, in-depth on Derrick Henry and why he's not a Cowboy, blah, blah, blah. A lot to get into here. Jerry said, quote, Derrick Henry's having a career year. I don't know if he'd be having that career year in our situation. And that's really something you do have to look at. Because if he had not had as many carries as our backs have had, then he probably wouldn't have had the level of impact he's had. He's a real good complement to the type of offense they run. We don't run that type of offense at all. Look, I think there's some truth there. I don't think Derrick Henry would be having the same caliber of year that he's having in Baltimore as he would have had with the Dallas Cowboys. I think that is because of your scheme and your O-line. Now, I don't think the Ravens O-line is that great. I think their scheme is very good, though. For example, the Ravens are top 10 in outside run percentage. They've allowed Derrick Henry to do some wide zone stuff, some pistol stuff to get him to the edge and let him use his power and speed downhill. The Cowboys are bottom 5 in outside run percentage. Again, you don't maximize your skill set from a coaching staff perspective. But there's no doubt that Derrick Henry would be an upgrade. Is his success rate very similar to Rico Dowdle? Yes. But Henry's busted off a bunch of big runs this year at seemingly every game. Also, this idea that, he wouldn't be as good, that is not a good thing. That is actually a damning indictment on your coaching staff. What Jerry Jones just said, and I think he's right, is that this staff wouldn't be good enough to make the NFL's number 1 rusher right now work as well. That's bad. Look, Jerry's right. I think he is right that this wouldn't be as good for Derrick Henry in Dallas as it would have been or as it is in Baltimore. That is actually a damning indictment on your failures of a coaching staff, on a failures of you as the GM. That is, you want to hold that title, you get the blame. Look, I think to an extent, as we'll get into, I think he listened to his support staff, and they said, we don't need Derrick Henry. They're paying the price for it. So what is your confidence level, back to the coaching staff here, for the Cowboys? Scale it from 1 to 10 in the comments section of today's show. Final thoughts, we had more salary cap lies, which at this point is just straight up gaslighting us, and I'm tired of it. Although in this case, I believe it to be more of a convenient excuse than admitting maybe what actually went down here. Jerry also said this on Derrick Henry. Now, Derrick Henry didn't fit because principally of managing the cap and his patient players that we were going to sign weeks later or players we were going to be signing in the future. Now, they didn't sign anybody. They signed a player we'll get to in a second later on. Undoubtedly, undisputably, verifiably, 100% accurately, the Cowboys could have signed Derrick Henry if they wanted to. A lot of teams could have signed Derrick Henry if they wanted to. He was not the highest paid back in the NFL in the free agency this offseason. And I think to an extent, like many teams, like me, they missed on the player. I do think there was you can go back and watch our videos. I didn't really want to give Derrick Henry $8 million. I should have. He's been great. I was looking to save an extra 2 or 3. And I think every person, even the most anti-Derrick Henry person out there, the most anti-RBs don't matter person out there, there was a price point where it would have made sense. You know how you figure out the price point? You pick up the damn phone and call. That's what bothers me. This Cowboys team didn't make phone calls. They straight up said, we're not going to call people. If they want to reach out to us, we will respond. That is not how you do business in the NFL. It is operating from, I have to have the power, I have to have the control, I have to win the deal, and this is a Stephen Jones thing, it's a Jerry Jones thing in particular. They did not try to see if Derrick Henry would take. He would have taken less. How much less? I don't know. You should have called, because he wanted to be in Dallas. He made that pretty damn clear. They didn't want him. And I do wonder, in the end, if the players we were going to sign weeks later, I wonder if that's about Zeke. Because I think this organization really thought Zeke still had the same stuff in him. Very clear compared to Derrick Henry. That is not the case.